In this episode of Film Stock Reviews, I'm reviewing Men. Men is written and directed by Alex Garland, who you may remember for directing Ex Machina and Annihilation. This is a different take on the aspect of what horror is. The movie stars Jessie Buckley and Rory Kinnear, and this movie, like I said, is just insane. It basically tells the story of Jessie Buckley's character, Harper, who is a young woman who goes on a solo vacation, so to speak, to the English countryside after the death of her husband. But then while she's there, she's being stalked by this man who has the same face. Now, this script is really interesting and really well done. There is not much dialogue in this movie. The first half of the movie, maybe I want to say the first 60 minutes, a little bit dialogue here and there with certain main characters, and then it's just a full-on onslaught of dialogue and scares and interesting factors at the end of this movie. Now, there are only 4 characters in this entire movie. Actors, so to speak. It's Jessie Buckley, who plays Harper, Rory Kinnear, who is Jeffrey, the owner of this holiday house that Harper rents, and he also portrays numerous men that she sees, but she doesn't realize that she's seeing these men. Only the viewers see it. And then the character of her husband and her friend. That's it. It's a really one-note horror movie, and it's categorized as a genre of folk horror. There are a lot of factors of what it could be, what it is, what the explanation is, what's going on. It's very, very different. There are a lot of innuendos and underlining factors of things, and I do want to say go in with this with an open mind, because if you do, then you'll understand what's happening, sort of. But the factor of seeing birth, rebirth, death, how everything plays into order, who this guy is, who the category of men are, and how Harper herself in this movie is going through this trial and tribulation of trying to find herself between what the guilt she caused on herself with her husband's death. And it's interesting because the acting is exceptionally splendid. Jessie Buckley is fantastic. Even Rory Kinnear for playing so many roles. And the CGI is wonky at times, especially with one of the characters that Rory Kinnear plays as a young boy with a young face. But you can tell it's CGI. It's just different. And I don't want to get into the details of how this movie is or should be, because there's a scene of birth, there's Adam and Eve, the apple, the penance, this and that. It's definitely a lot of metaphors in it that you have to go into understanding, like, okay, men are like this toward women, but then women feel guilty about a certain thing. It's actually explained kind of in a way, and the movie does end abruptly. That's it. After everything that her character goes through in this, Harper psychologically, I feel like it's one of those characters where it's like, holy shit, is this really happening? And it's really happening to her character. There are a lot of horror elements to this, where it's, the aspect of this music and the sound, the score, the cinematography is just splendid. And the whole light and dark aspect is really, really interesting. There's a scene in the beginning where she's walking through the woods and she's just taking in nature. It's nature, she's taking it in, but there's also a factor of, okay, what does nature have to play in this movie? And in your mind, you can actually kind of say, you explain it to yourself what nature is, what the men are, what this woman are. The whole aspect of being born again, death, the argument, the trials and tribulations of marriage, relationships, the guilt, the dishonor. It is a wide range of what aspect this movie is and can be, and I have to say that it's very interesting and very shocking in a way. I mean, it was distributed by A24. A24 is known for shocking and disturbing horror films, and this is one of those films. Alex Garland is a good writer and director, but sometimes you get lost. And I feel like he does get lost in his story. The directing is great. I loved Ex Machina. Wasn't a fan of Annihilation, like I said. And this one, I'm a toss-up. I don't know if I'll see it again, but for people who don't know horror like this or psychological, then it's really, really different for you to understand. Like I said, go into it with an open mind, and then, you know, watch it for the aspect of the acting, the writing, how the cinematography works, and how the aspect of what she's going through. And you're like, it'll make you, your jaw will be on the ground when you're watching this movie. Mine was, especially in certain scenes where I didn't expect it at all. But you see the innuendos and the images and the factors, and it will stay with you. For me, Men gets 3 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about Men. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? Do you think that this is Alex Garland's best film? Or did you like Ex Machina and Annihilation? And do you think that this movie is going to be a cult horror movie? The genre is folk horror, so, I mean, you know, you can leave that up to interpretation. So let me know in the comment section below about the questions I just asked, and also let me know what rating you would give Men, and I'll see you guys in the next review video.